There were rocks. Of course there were rocks. Why didn't I look before? So many people had spoken of the danger, but I chose to ignore. The rush was so invigorating, and the experience was so new. But when I hit that water below the cliff, I discovered the truth. The water was cold. I hit a rock. My side only bled a bit, but that jump could have been fatal. So I took a moment to sit. But I get up. Forget the risk. Remember the rush that it brought? I'll try again. I won't get hurt. I was starting to bleed a lot. I jumped again, and there's the rush. Feeling as good as ever. The water's cold. My body's numb. My head banged the rock harder. I'm feeling dizzy, weak in the knees. I'll only do it once more. I'm getting better, and the feeling's better. Blood has started to pour. Adrenaline pumping through my head. That's what the pounding is, right? The water takes away my pain. Broken ribs make my chest feel tight. I get out of the water. I feel the pain. I need to get home to him. But I depend on that rush and relief. The blood calls monsters to swim. Once more, I say, once more. This time will be my last. I'm stronger, smarter than I've ever been. The pain is probably past. I crave the rush the jump gives, but I never hit the water. The tide goes out, I land on a rock. I never recognized the slaughter. There are other jumpers all around, some new, old, or like me. If only I could reach the numbing water, I would finally be free. Creatures circle, they smell the blood. It's leaking from my body. I try to move to enter the ocean, filled with others rotting. I never thought I'd be here. If only I'd gone home before. Would I even go if I could? Or would I try to jump once more? This was a poem I wrote about a time in my life when I was addicted to viewing pornography. I wrote it in the hopes that it would convey just how damaging it was to me personally. But I'm sure you know that I'm not the only one who struggled with porn. According to the APA Handbook of Sexuality and Psychology, various international studies have put porn consumption rates at 50% to 99% among men and 30% to 86% among women. After having gone through this myself, I conducted research on porn and the psychological and relational damage that it does, and I wish to share it with you as a warning. In one of his many presentations, Professor of Psychology William Struthers explains how watching pornography releases feel-good chemicals like dopamine, serotonin, and norepinephrine into the viewer's brain. These chemicals are not bad when used appropriately by the brain. The trouble comes when people are repeatedly viewing pornography as a means of sexual pleasure, and these neural pathways are constantly being overused. As stated by the American Family Association, this persistent reliance on porn creates a sense of relief, excitement, exhilaration, or pleasure, and eventually, these pleasurable, relieving surges get grooved into association with pornography. Like a robot, your brain gets programmed so that you return to porn for that chemical release. Similar to the use of drugs, pornography becomes an activity that people constantly need to do more and more in order to satisfy their growing desire for the substance. In people's minds, doing drugs seems significantly more extreme than just watching a little bit of porn. However, porn isn't just an internal feeling, but like drugs, it affects the way you see the world. Founder and director of the Marriage and Religion Research Institute, Pat Fagan, a man who's been conducting this type of research for decades, states that people who watch pornography can be molded into seeing humans merely as a means of attaining sexual satisfaction. What people don't realize is that porn affects more than just you, but the other people around you as well, especially in romantic relationships. Most people who watch pornography begin to think that once they're dating or they get married, their pornography problem will be solved. However, this is not the case with addiction. It will remain and will distance you from your loved ones. Due to all the psychological factors going on in a man's brain, when a husband engages in the use of pornography, his wife almost always notices a certain detachment on his part. Less time, less sexual interaction, less attention. The man becomes so engrossed with the sexual fantasy world that he has created. His spouse no longer satisfies him enough sexually. C.S. Lewis explains it best when he says that this type of activity is similar to having an imaginary harem. He says that this harem, once admitted, works against a man ever getting out and really uniting with a real woman. For the harem is always accessible, always subservient, calls for no sacrifices or adjustments, and can be endowed with erotic and psychological attributes which no real woman can rival. And in the end, they become merely the medium through which he increasingly adores himself. By setting these imaginary standards that only fabricated films can meet, the man slowly becomes less intimate with his spouse, and the confused wife is both unaware and unable to stop the addiction. And concerning those who are single but are desiring to get married, it's the same issue. No spouse will be able to satisfy them as long as they find their own satisfaction. And besides pornography's ability to eat away at a person's relationship with other people, it also interferes with a person's relationship with God. Fellow Bible students, porn, just like every other type of sin, separates us from God. Jesus himself says during the Sermon on the Mount, "The eye is the lamp of the body. So if your eye is healthy, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eye is bad, your whole body will be full of darkness." Christians who view pornography don't usually think of it as being that big of a deal because it's done in private and they're the only ones who know about it. As one of those Christians, I know how that feels. However, what Christians either forget or try to block out is that God is always with us. We are temples of the Holy Spirit who lives inside of us. We are called to offer our bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God, and to abstain from sexual immorality. That each one of us know how to conquer our own bodies in holiness and honor, as Paul states. While you may know that pornography is dangerous, that it's a sin, stopping is another beast in itself. But if I can encourage you at all, I would finish my poem. I see him there, and he sees me. He knows the mistakes I made. It's my own fault. He should walk away as my life begins to fade. Why risk his own life? I'm practically dead. He knows the risk, and he warned me. Yet he jumps off, not for the rush, but so that he can restore me. It's my fault he had to dive, but he bears the pain and he took the shame. Love is why I'm alive. He fends off the beasts, searching for prey, unfazed by the brutal pain. He picks me up and swims me to shore. The ordeal makes me faint. I wake up and he's healing my wounds. He's even more injured than me because he went back and saved the others. We have been set free. Jesus can set you free from pornography. Look to him for that freedom.